Welcome, children. We have already learned part 1 of History Chapter 2 Historiography Indian Tradition. In this session, we are going to continue with Historiography Various Ideological Framework. So, let's begin, children. Indian Historiography Various Ideological Frameworks. In the second part of the session, we will be learning about ideological frameworks. What are ideologies, children? Colonialism was ideology. Orientalist historiography was different ideology. Same way, nationalistic historiography, feminist historiography, Marxist historiography. These are different ideologies which we will be learning in this part. So let's begin with colonial historiography. We must know about those early scholars who came to India. They wrote something about Indian history. Who were they? They were mainly Christian missionaries. Their prejudice is clearly noticed or reflected through their writing about Indian culture because they were those who had ridiculed Indian culture. Their writings were used to justify the colonial British rule always. The 5 volumes of Cambridge History of India, published during 1922 to 1937, are distinct examples of colonial historiography. Children, in this part we will be learning about Orientalist historiography. Many scholars who were the outsiders, they were not the Indians, but they had great admiration and respect about the Indian languages, about the Indian culture, especially the culture of the countries of the East. These scholars were known as Orientalists. The Orientalists studied different things like similarities between the origin of Sanskrit language and all other Indo-European languages. After studying both the languages like Indo-European languages, they concluded that Sanskrit was the mother of all Indo-European languages. We must mention the name of Sir William Jones, who founded Asiatic Society in Kolkata. Later on, this organization opened the door for the research work in ancient Indian literature and history. Frederick Max Muller. He was the one who opined that Sanskrit was the most ancient language of all Indo-European languages. Frederick Max Muller translated the Sanskrit text of Hitopadesh. He was the editor of 50 volumes of the sacred books of the East. He compiled Rig Veda and also translated it into German language. Then comes Edward, who was a scholar. He re-evaluated the Orientalist writings. He threw light on imperialistic interests of Orientalist scholars. Let's learn about nationalistic historiography. It is about the writings of Indian historians who were trained in the British educational system and who had great pride in the ancient glory of India and also the self-esteem of the Indian readers. These historians' writings are known as nationalistic historiography. They had pride about their own culture. They had pride about their own civilization as well as languages. The nationalistic writings in Maharashtra was inspired by Vishnu Shastri Chipolkar, who had criticized the prejudiced history of ancient India written by the British officers. Mahadev Ranade, Ramkrishna Gopal Bhandarkar, Vinayak Damodar Savarkar, Rajendra Lal Mishra, Mesh Chandra Majumdar, Kashi Prasad Jaiswal, Radha Kumud Mukherjee, Bhagwan Lal Indraji, Vasudev Vishnu Mirashi, Ananta Sadashiv Altekar. These are some renowned scholars amongst these nationalistic historians. When we study about nationalistic historiography, we must study about the book that is written by Justice Mahadev Govind Ranade. It was entitled The Rise of Maratha Power. He has explained the background of the rise of Maratha Empire in great details in this book. He says it was not like a sudden erupted forest fire. but the background of the rise of Maratha Empire took place slowly and steadily at all levels, like social, cultural, religious levels, that was getting ready over a prolonged period of time. Let's learn about Vishwanath Kashinath Rajwade, whose writing is also belonged to nationalistic historiography. V.K. Rajwade is known for his writings in Marathi on varied subjects like history, linguistics, etymology, grammar, etc. Etymology is a science where the study of word is done minutely. Its pronunciation, its meanings, everything is studied about words in etymology. V.K. Rajwade was of the opinion that we should write our own history. मराठ्यांच्या इतिहासाची साधने. This book was edited in 22 volumes by V.K. Rajwade, where he stated that history is the all-inclusive image of the past societies. It does not simply include stories of political images, conspiracies, and wars for seizing power. He insisted that history should be written based on the authentic documentary sources. He founded Bharat Itihas Samashodhak Mandal in Pune on 7th July 1910 to facilitate more historical research. After the arrival of the Britishers, especially in the pre-independence period, this nationalistic historiography helped in gearing up the independence movement of the Indian people against the Britishers. So in this regard, the book written by Vinayak Damodar Savarkar is very helpful, children. The name of the book is The Indian War of Independence 1857. It is of great importance in this respect. The nationalistic historiography provided momentum to the writing of regional histories also. As a result, the attention of historians was drawn to the geographical conditions, the history of South Indian regions also. Let's get acquainted with the historiography in the post-independence era. We have studied, children, along with the writing of dynastic histories, then the cultural, social, economic histories. Even the scholars felt to have the need of writing histories of various communities, sciences, economic systems, political ideologies. The historiography in this era has been influenced mainly by three ideological schools: Marxist history, subaltern history, and feminist history. So let's begin with Marxist history. Children, this question had come in the board paper of March 2020. It comes for 3 marks. There were historians who were influenced by the Marxist philosophy of communism. Let's learn about communist philosophy. Communist philosophy is about the different class struggle of the people of the society. So same way here, the concern for the means of production, modes of production, and industrial relations were at the center in the writings of Marxist historians. In India, Marxist historians studied the transitions within the caste system. There are some scholars named Damodar Dharmananda Kosambi, Comrade Shripad Amrut Dange, Ram Sharan Sharma, Comrade Sharad Patil. These are known as Marxist historians. Comrade Dange was one of the founder members of the Indian Communist Party. The book Primitive Communism to Slavery was written by him, which represents Marxist historiography. Children, we have studied about Karl Marx's theory in the chapter 1. When we learn about subaltern history, we need to understand the importance of bottommost ranks. Which people belong to the bottommost ranks? Children, if we look at the society based on economical background, then we must understand the whole society gets divided into 3 stages or 3 classes. higher class, middle class, and lower class. So people, those who belong to lower class, have weak or poor economical background. Here, the role of Italian historian Antonio Gramsci is very important because he has developed the idea that history should be written starting from the bottommost ranks of people in the society. That means when the history is written, the writer or historian has to take care of each class of the society. Especially he should begin with the bottommost rank, means he should begin with the lowest class, economically lowest class of the society. In fact, subaltern means the most bottommost ranks. In this regard, children, folklore becomes an important source of writing subaltern histories. Ranjit Guha, who was an Indian historian, played a major role in establishing subaltern history as an important school of historiography. We must take his name. Then Mahatma Jyotirao Phule. Actually, this subaltern historiography, it got developed in the after independence, we can say, children, but before independence also there are few historians, there are few freedom fighters who had already unfolded the history of subaltern people, who had already unfolded the history of this bottommost rank of the people, and amongst them Mahatma Jyotirao Phule comes. So he had written, like, he unfolded the history of Shudra, Ati Shudra communities. In his book Gulamgiri, he drew attention towards the exploitation of lowest classes, the lowest class of the society, women, Shudras, and which was done under the name of religion. The role of the Dalit people was acknowledged during the colonial and nationalistic historiography. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, who focused on this fact and who continued writing about the subaltern history. His books, Who Were the Shudras and The Untouchables, may be cited as examples of history of subaltern type. Children, we have studied about feminist historiography in chapter 1. We have studied about Simone de Beauvoir, who helped in establishing the fundamentals of feminism. Now here, when we are learning about feminist history, there are some particular names we have to take. We have to also study about the Indian social background, because over a period of time, if we see, many male scholars were only involved in the writing of Indian history. So the role of women in history was always ignored or neglected. So it was also important to study and compile the historical writings of women. It was also necessary to rethink of women's position in history or in history or historical society. Among women authors writing about women in 19th century CE was Tarabai Shinde, who was the foremost one, who wrote a book Stree Purush Tulna in 1882, where she has directly attacked the male-dominated Indian society, social system, caste system, and that is the reason this book Stree Purush Tulna is acknowledged as the first feminist book in India. Then the next book that comes is The High Caste Hindu Woman, which was written by Pandita Ramabai in 1888. It got published. This book also explains or portrays all the minute details about the women, Hindu women, who belonged to the high caste families. The feminist literature concentrated on the issues like employment of women, treatment offered to women at their working place, their right to political equality. So all the aspects related to women are portrayed, or these were only the issues which were taken up into the feminist literature in those days. Like Tarabai Shinde, the next name comes in the list. It is Mirabai Kosambi. She has written the life stories of women like Pandita Ramabai, Dr. Rakhmabai in her book Crossing Thresholds, Feminist Essays in Social History. Then comes the name of Writing Caste, Writing Gender, Reading Dalit Women's Testimonies. This book is also noteworthy in this context. It's written by Dr. Sharmila Rege, which includes her essays about the biographies of Dalit women. There have been a number of Indian historians who wrote without embracing any particular ideologies. Children, till now we have learnt about different ideologies like subaltern, Marxist, Orientalist, even nationalist. But there are some historians, there are some Indian writers who did not follow any particular ideology, those who wrote freely. And amongst them are Sir Jadunath Sarkar, Surendranath Sen, Triambak Shankar Shezwalkar. These names are also noteworthy, children. Historians like Yashwant Dinkar Phadke, Ramchandra Guha have contributed extensively to the historiography of modern India in the recent times. Thus, it is evident that the Indian historiography has been influenced greatly by the social as well as political movements. Children, let's study this table. It's about the names of writers and then their work, their books that are written by them. This kind of objective questions can come in the form of fill in the blanks as well as identifying the wrong pair. So let's study them. James Mill, the history of British India. Grand Duff, a history of Marathas. Mount Stuart Elphinston, the history of India. Shripad Amrut Dange, primitive communism to slavery. Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar, who were the Shudras. Children, we have completed over here second full chapter. There are some questions for a practice. They are provided to you on the screen, as well as there is an exercise that is given below the chapter in your standard 10th history course book. Go through the whole chapter, read the chapter thoroughly, find out and mark all the answers in the textbook and copy those question answers in your classwork. Thank you.